Okay.
So the second part of this is the deed, deeding of parcel K. And I've talked to Wayne about this, and we've learned that Miller and Smith wants to deed this as a quick deed, which means that there are no warranties. It is, ownership is conveyed without warranty. So you would go back to a title, you'd perform a title search, and then you would get title insurance. And those you absolutely have to, I would think you'd want to make, considering the expense you're going to go to build this facility. But you're going to have a appraisal made of the property in order for them to issue a insurance, title insurance. So I don't know what the cost is going to be on that, but it was not budgeted cost. This property was part of a bigger parcel, and it has never been subdivided. And there's been no deed prior to, for this particular property, prior to Miller and Smith assuming it. They got a quick deed from the former. So what all this means is that you might have somebody holding a piece of paper that's held that paper for 50 years and it comes out of the woodwork and makes claim to the property.
Which is why you have insurance.
That's why you have insurance. And it'll go back 43 years.
But the insurance won't say anything about other than that's all it's going to go there. It won't talk about potentially down the road of it being boat storage or anything else. It's that plot of land as it exists today.
Parcel K only.
So they purchased this separate from the trust property. This is something they added on to that wasn't in the trust, wasn't in Independence.
I must have been. I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
No, I'm sure they purchased, when they purchased all their sections,
I mean, it was part of the deal,
I'm sure.
because they bought a lot of other things, so I don't know.
But Corey Haynes, who's a survey director for Patton Harrison, said it's a weak plat. And so we really need to make sure that that we have proper insurance, title insurance on it before we move forward.
And maybe a survey,
Yeah.
get a restate.
You've issued an RFP for this, for the turnkey contract?
Yes, but they understand that before they make any submittal, that they are going to get the site plan.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but again, you've issued the RFP as reflected here in tab
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Okay. Why have you told the potential bidders that we'll select a bidder, a vendor on March 24th, but he doesn't commence the project until April 30th?
Just got to order materials. I want to allow enough time. There's enough time the object here is to get the project done by November 30th. There's ample time to do that. The delay is going to be in the approval process. That's the unknown right now.
It doesn't make, no, if I give this guy a contract on March 24th, I don't want him to sit on his hands for 5 weeks. He doesn't commence the project. He's got a contract. We select a bidder on the 24th of March, and then we give this guy a contract on the 30th of April. Is the way I read your...
He starts, yes, he starts the project.
Why?
You have to order the building. You
He's
have
not
site
gonna do that.
preparation.
He's
You have
not...
site preparation.
Great. He's not gonna do that.
I don't think 5 weeks allows them time to mobilize, so I don't know. If you think we should shorten that, I mean,
I
certainly
think-
done.
What if you just suggested he start as soon as possible?
This is a semantics argument,
All
John.
right, okay, all right, all right.
We all know it, don't we?
Yeah, all right. Okay.
But I'm a little nervous about this weak plat thing. It's because now it sounds like we have to, step 1 is to get a survey, step 2 is an appraisal, right? And do the title insurance based on the appraisal. I think I got that right.
You might not need a survey, but you'll definitely need a appraisal. From what I understand.
So it's been surveyed.
There are stakes. Whether they all be found,
We may need a survey.
yeah,
We don't know that for sure.
yeah. I said we may need it.
I can't believe that you can't. And these are prerequisites to what?
To the title insurance, because they're gonna base that title insurance on the
Yeah,
appraised
absolutely.
value, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's how they do it.
Yeah.
So, What do you think this thing's gonna
Well, wait a
create?
minute, where does that fit into the big,
I'm just worried that we're gonna
Money.
be breaking ground before we've done all this, that's the reason I'm.
Well, that's what I'm
We
asking,
can't- we
how does
can't.
this all fit into
You're not
this?
gonna award a contract until you have these, and I've already contacted,
Okay, so these are our activities that we've gotta do before we give this guy his contract.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, okay, I need to
and
reflect
these are
those in
recent
my
developments.
timeline
Yeah,
that I've built.
yeah, the timeline shouldn't be looked at until you have a contract in hand.
I'm not worried about, you're right, the stuff that the contractor does, but I wanna know the stuff that we gotta do up front to make this happen.
Well, the quick deed thing is just surfaced. I mean, as far as, we were always told it would be deeded to us, but we didn't understand the nature of it. I've asked for a memorandum of understanding from Miller and Smith for at least 2 months.
We ought to sit down and revisit that last chart that I sent you and make sure that we've got all the things on there that have to happen
Yeah.
in the right time frame. And then we will worry about filling in how the guy does the job once we get him on contract. But I'm worried about the stuff up front to get to the point where we get on contract.
At least we're not gonna get a lot of time.
When's the quick claim gonna happen? The deed, the quick claim part of this thing, is that, which happens first here, I'm confused.
We could begin the survey, if that's required,
But we don't, you said he probably doesn't need a survey, so what's holding up the quick claim?
well, he'll deed it to us right away. I mean, he'll give us the.
So once we've done the
That's
quick
number
claim,
one.
we own it, and we don't have to ask his permission for how we lay it out, right?
No, in issuing the quick deed.
I mean, in good faith, we would, but,
Issuing the quick deed, his first requirement was that he approve that. He
So
approved the site
So he
plan.
does have to prove it before he'll give us.
before the quick claim, he has to
Right, yeah.
approve it.
Right.
So I'm trying to get this
Oh, yeah,
straight.
me too, me too.
Yeah,
You and
there's
I
a
are on
lot
the
of
same-
steps. There's a lot of steps.
There are a lot of steps.
And they're more unfolding as you go into it, and
But that's why one builds a master schedule and a master plan as one goes along, so one knows what steps are coming next. Or at least in some general idea of what's gonna happen next. We're not there yet, as far as I'm concerned.
well, a lot of things are not in place. We didn't have a memorandum of understanding from Miller and Smith. We didn't understand exactly what type of deed he was providing us. This statement was a pretty new
We
statement. that-
have to provide for, I don't, let's go through it. I'm just saying we have to provide for all of those things.
Listen, would you two guys work together and get this master plan done?
Yes, we
This
will.
has been requested for, I don't know how many weeks, Ray,
Yes, we
that
will.
we have this master timeline of how this project's gonna be conducted with every step and every dependency and every critical path shown, so that we could do this right, and it just still isn't on the table, we need it on the table. And I understand things keep happening,
Yeah.
but
It's
that's
not-
why you've got a master plan, so you can know the effect of anything that happens.
The master plan is gonna not be a good plan until you have some of these elements. We have to know how long it's gonna take to get to appraise, we have to know how long it's gonna take the site plan to be approved. We know that the elements, we can name the elements, but we can't draw your critical path.
If you don't put the elements down in a sequential fashion,
I understand
you
that.
don't know the dependencies.
Yeah, understand, understand. But I'm saying the one thing that's not
You
gonna happen.
can't answer Dave's question about what do you do first?
No, we have to understand that we can't develop a critical path, that's all I'm saying.
Would you guys work together, and at your March meeting, I want this master schedule. I want- I
By
want-
then, half of this stuff will be done.
Yeah, well, no,
Good, all the better, all the better. I've sent you my second cut at it. That ought to be our baseline.
Can we go on?
Yes, we
Yeah.
certainly
We've got
can.
another hour of stuff
Oh,
to
we
do.
got a long time to go,
Could we
yes.
take a bio break?
We haven't got to the good stuff yet.
After we finish our action items, okay? There's only one more action item.